think, oh, we're live. Hopefully, Greg and I are passing by each other here, working just outside of, just outside.
There are so many light switches. I forget which light switches do what.
We also probably get to be on the other MiFi, but if we do that now, it'll drop signal. So please let us know if you can hear us. Please let us know if anybody is there. The Jessica, aka the Pookie, is working on lighting. We are inside of where are we?
Zion National Park.
Zion National Park, and heard thanks. I hear and we go. Heard thanks, here and we go. Can somebody tell us if you're able to see us all right? That is the good question. Yes, I hear you. We see you a little pixelated. So we didn't go onto the Verizon. You told me to. We didn't do it.
Oh.
This is part of the relationship learning. I hope that you forgive me. See you
I forgive
blurry.
you.
Okay, we'll see if the audience forgives us.
Should we try?
I think it'll drop the signal. Now we could try it and see what happens. Because we are on a see you. You are beautiful. I see you, but a little blurry. Do we go for it or not? What's your feeling?
I say we go for it.
All right, we go for it, and we see what happens. And if it drops the signal, it should pick it back up.
Well, are we already? Oh, it doesn't show up here.
No, it's not turned on yet.
Oh. Okay, you mean the actual little eye, not your phone.
No, I do mean my phone.
Okay, turn on your phone.
So Jessica's going to talk to you, and I'm going to turn on the phone. And this is about relationship bliss.
You really get to retrieve the phone and hand it to me since I'm the more tech savvy one.
Ooh! Wow! Whoa!
It's not. You see how easily statements can be misinterpreted as criticisms when they're just facts.
Whoa! Whoa, you think I'm going to give you the phone after that?
Well, okay. I do have to give you credit for setting up the cell phone signal booster today with the help of Dr. Bradley Nelson.
Thank you.
Who's the creator of the emotion code and the body code.
Yep. So we are on the Verizon mobile hotspot. And I guess what we do in advance, because we're out in nature, we're actually in a nature park. I don't know if anybody can see. Can I try moving this toward the window here?
Yeah.
We can
Go for it.
Move toward the window here. Moving toward the window. Moving toward the window. This is that's a tail of the love bug. But this is Zion National Park. Don't know if you can see anything there or not. And we are recording from our 35-foot RV. And yes, Kitty is very comfy there. So that's more of Zion there. I don't know if we can get a good image or not.
Let go of the
and
is
the
that a
love bug
kitty
is
scratcher?
attaching herself to the RV. We just had our 10-year anniversary yesterday. We got married on 10/10/10, and it has all been perfect bliss, hasn't it, Pookie?
Define bliss.
Well, I had turned that on.
Yeah, I know. For some reason, you have to do it manually sometimes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, so define bliss.
Define bliss. I figured if I said that it has been bliss, you would clearly correct us and say what part of bliss is the near divorces, what part of bliss are the 3 miscarriages, what part of the bliss is the loss of a few pets, what part of bliss is the what part of bliss is the what part of bliss is what I figured you would say. But we've made it through a lot, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
We've made it through a lot. And I think we've learned a lot. And what did we do yesterday?
Yesterday we flew over the Grand Canyon and Lake Powell and Sedona and Zion.
And we actually flew almost into the Sedona airport, except the plane at that point is going.
And we were in Dr. Bradley Nelson's plane. And which he has a really cool plane.
He has a really cool plane. I've got it. He set the bar now for our first airplane. He has really set the bar.
So now you know
high.
what you want to manifest.
So his plane that he sold went for used, 5 years old. How much do you think?
Oh, is that public information? I'm not sure if we should disclose that.
Okay. Let's. We can disclose what a new one costs, though, right? Second, as we switched, are we back with everybody? So let's check with everybody. Are we back?
So we just switched carriers. We switched from T-Mobile to
Are we back?
Verizon.
Much clearer? Oh, yes. So
yay!
Here's the deal in a relationship. The Pookie is always right. 7117. The Pookie is always right. So, guys, take it from me. And we've heard this in comic routines. We've heard it everywhere. You can be right or you can be happy. I choose happiness because every time you think you're going to win a fight with your spouse, you're gonna lose. Do you have anything to add about that?
Well, Elavan says there's a saying, happy wife, happy life. And you like to use that saying too.
I do. And it is so true. Which is why this tour, I have said, we are out on an RV tour there we're back. We're out on an RV for almost 6 weeks. And I have said, this is not the Michael tour, the Hoobie tour.
Yeah. So every time there's a decision to make about whether we go someplace or not, he defaults to my decision. And it's a little unnerving for me because then I feel like all the pressure's on me to make the right decision. But it's good. It's good training. I think it's going to help me build confidence.
So, and I have given to that 100%, haven't I? Whichever way you want to go. So I thought we were going to the Grand Canyon today. Grand Canyon. But I have no attachment. You want happiness. We are learning. Is there any more important lesson we're learning on this tour so far? It's got to be another word than tour because I keep thinking book tour. Is there a more important lesson we are learning than letting go?
No, because I was going to say forgiveness, but forgiveness is about letting go too. It's about letting go of grudges.
Have you had grudges?
Yes.
Against me?
Yes.
Ow.
Resentment.
Oh.
I've had resentment.
I'll buy that. We're a power couple. Make no mistake about it. We do amazing things together. And we've also come to the edge of the cliff many times. Predominantly, is this like a tell? I mean, I'm nervous.
I think it's more like
scruffy
this.
I look scruffy from the hike.
You didn't do this. So
No. So I want to tell you the truth. Happy wife, happy life. Then you're in trouble. But the first few years, I put you through the ringer.
Yeah.
So, and it's a miracle you stayed by my side. And there was a lot of wounding, and we're still working on some of that wounding, I believe. So, yeah. Why have you hung in there?
Well, in the beginning, I hung in there because, surprisingly or not, every time I threatened divorce, you made massive changes.
Wow. Which on the one hand, that's a good thing. On the other hand, it reinforces the desire to threaten divorce.
Well, at some point I realized, okay, there's a pattern here and it's kind of like turning into a game and I could use this knowledge. But I I think I only did that twice, where I actually threatened divorce, knowing that I wasn't really serious. I was bluffing, but I knew that if I threatened divorce, that you would finally see the error of your ways.
And believe me, there have been many errors of my ways.
No, you would take the situation more seriously and do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, it seemed like I had to raise the stakes or just get really, really dramatic about things before you took me seriously. And
yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh. Ruru just fell down the stairs. It's only 3 stairs. Yes, he did. Yeah, if you haven't seen him, we have a rooster. It's actually well past his bedtime, so we probably should put him in bed. So I'm going to ask you this question. Then I'm going to get Ruru. We'll put Ruru on air for 10 seconds. He may fall apart on air. And then I'll put Ruru to bed and we'll continue this. How have things changed now, or have they?
Oh.
You thought we were kidding.
Well, good to know. He can get up the stairs and then some.
Yes, he certainly can get up the stairs. And now I'm wondering what he might be able to poo on that we have to get cleaned.
Well, that's why we have these lovely sofa covers and
you don't want this though.
Chair covers. Oh, what is it?
His port is the phone. We don't want any kind of cordage like that. If you have a towel, I'll take a towel. Then he can stay sitting over there. There we go. All right. So you were saying what has changed now?
So what has changed now is, well, in the beginning, you were hypoglycemic.
Yeah.
So
come on over here.
You had major mood swings. You were very unpredictable.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember waking up being scared not because he wasn't violent. He never threatened my life. Nothing like that. He never threatened to hit me. Never like.
I can't believe we're even having this conversation. Peace.
But I would wake up in fear because I didn't know what kind of mood you would be in.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a roller coaster ride. Your emotions were just up and down. And now you're much more stable.
The interesting thing is I'm a lot more stable now, but your nervous system scans the horizon looking for danger. And if it smells any of the old warning signs, it red flares.
Yeah.
Even if there's nothing there.
Yeah, for instance, if you go without food or you say you don't have enough time to eat, I freak out because a long time ago, 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago, you came up with the rule, which was the pumpkin rule. We had a coyote mix. And when Michael rescued her before I came into his life, she was starving on a Navajo reservation. Yep. And once you rescued her, she was driven by food because she was never going to let herself starve again. So Pumpkin's rule was food first, no matter what. If there's food, that was the first target. Not running in the dog park, not chasing chickens or squirrels.
Thank you.
Eating. So
not eating squirrels
because you were hypoglycemic.
She never ate a squirrel.
And your blood sugar would drop frequently, and sometimes you wouldn't even notice.
Which is why Sawa ended up as my service dog.
The second dog was a service dog.
Because she would point out, her ears would go if my blood sugar crashed, and then she would actually draw a line in the sand.
Crazy ears. The ears would go out, and then the hair would stick up.
Then she'd start shaking.
So it became really like imperative that we constantly keep you well fed. Otherwise, we were looking at Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Yeah. And so now we're out on RV tour, and there are times where it's much better for me to get from point A to point B and work on food later. And I'm perfectly happy doing that. I'm just looking at where his tail end is there. We're perfectly happy doing that, or my body is perfectly happy. And you're hearing the song from the 70s, To Freak. Freak out. Dun, 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 dun. Freak out. It's your cue. It's your cue, Ruru. Anyway. Or like, I don't even remember what it was, but you showed up. Oh yeah, I was in the Verizon store in Bozeman. And you came running in with a burrito emergency. I'm very thankful. I'm very, very thankful.
You had stopped in to the RV and you had mentioned that you hadn't eaten since
1912.
I don't even know if you had eaten that day. And immediately I wouldn't say I was freaking out, but I felt this low level wave of anxiety, and I'm like, I gotta prepare food. I've got to bring food to him. So I warm up a burrito and I put on a plate and I bring it into the Verizon store.
Did I handle it well?
Where everybody's wearing masks.
Nobody's got their mask off for eating. Everybody's social distancing.
And I hand the plate with the burrito.
And I'm like signing papers, trying to figure out which SD card or flash drive, what do they call those things? SIM card goes with which thing. And we're trying, and I'm like, burrito. I guess a better way for the marriage would have been for me to pull the mask down, have a bite.
Anyway, so he rejected me and the burrito.
Oh, I did not. I have never rejected you.
You constantly reject me.
What?
You constantly reject my offerings.
Have I gotten better with that?
How so?
I say yes a lot more now. One of my unique quirks and challenges is when I'm trying to do something and you just hand something to me. I'm like,
do you want to explain to everybody what this is?
Yeah. Well, I have a hematite stone, obsidian stone somewhere in the RV that you packed for me very nicely. That is my grounding stone that helps me keep me grounded. We don't know where it is. And so I bought myself a whole bunch, and there's another packet that's up there somewhere. I bought myself a whole bunch of hematite here, magnetized hematite, which is like my handlebars to hold on to in life right now and keep me grounded. Stones help keep me grounded, and hematite is one of the most grounding stones.
If you're in the middle of something, let's say you're in the middle of a YouTube live and I'm not, and then I come into the picture and you're talking and I'm like, here, Michael, you asked for the hematite.
I can't look down there right now.
Here, Michael.
I'm focused on a YouTube live. No, don't give me the hematite. I don't know what to do with it. And I'm working on that. That's part of, I have a hypergenius mind, but it gets on one track. And so to crack in that one track without coming across as you would say, a-hole is what I get to work on.
Using that word. Is that a noun? You're an asshole. Whoops.
Here come the YouTube censors. Does Ruru appear to be getting higher and higher up? The armrest is now his.
Birds seem to like to perch.
Can't blame him for that. Still working on the perching on the arm, but yes.
I think he's eyeing this. The
so?
freeze-dried mealworms.
He definitely knows what's in there, but I figure if you put it back down, he'll just hang out there for the moment. He might be coming closer. We shall see. So anyway, going back to this situation, I am really working hard We all get to find what our weaknesses are, weaknesses in a relationship, and work on it. And one of mine is the Pook Star not being able to break in to what's going on in my mind. And I am working hard to, at that point, switch as best I can. For whatever reason, that switching channel is challenging for me. It's very, very challenging. It feels like falling off of a cliff. I mean, let's be honest, particularly with this RV tour, if I come in with the keys because I left my gloves behind, I will come out with the gloves and I will have left the keys behind 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. And so there are these thoughts. And when I'm in one of these thoughts and you go to hand me something else, which takes me out of my thought, I'm afraid I may completely lose what's going on. But the relationship is more important, even though my egoic mind doesn't want to believe that. And so I am working to let you cut in and break the hematite. Keep going.
So early on in the relationship, when I would try and switch your track, your mental track to another track, mm-hmm. That would cause some panic inside of you.
It would. And
then
I can't, not right now.
Yeah, exactly. And so when he just did that,
you just did it.
I went
freak out.
I suddenly got very tight because I didn't realize that he was acting.
And what happens is, particularly if you're watching this, you're sensitive, and so we have two sensitive empaths here. Both mm-hmm. of us are sensitive, and so when I go your old wounds go and then I go, oh, you're blaming me, and then you go and then you go and the next thing you know,
River was going
exactly. And so it's either how do we break the pattern, how do we recognize that this is happening to the other person, and or how do we do healing work. Dr. Bradley Nelson did healing work with you. I've done healing work. Actually, his wife did healing work.
You know, the panic, the emotion of panic that Dr. Bradley Nelson and his wife Jean removed from me was actually from childhood.
Whoa.
I thought it was going to be from our marriage.
That I had traumatized you.
But it was from when I was 9. Something happened when I was 9 that I absorbed somebody else's panic.
And so you've been playing that panic channel with me. Not playing as in, but basically the learning matches the wound. If you have a wound of panic, you will inevitably marry somebody who will create panic in your life to help you to heal that wound.
Mm-hmm. So what am I helping you heal?
There is a fear in me that I have messed things up. I am so much better. But you continuously have pointed out how much I have messed things up. Did I approach that diplomatically? I really had to pause for a minute.
Would you say that I do that intentionally or unintentionally?
Actually, probably intentionally.
Recently.
To get me to change. I think there's a definite intention of a dude. How many times you come in for the gloves, you leave your keys, you come in for the... How many times before you get that? And I really couldn't tell you. But everything is changeable. Everything is improvable. You bought the little beepy thingy. But
I did, yeah.
That died in 24 hours? Walmart might be your savings place, but it is not quality products.
Here's a reverse promotion.
Reverse promotion. What's the sticker on it?
Legally, can I do this?
You're sharing.
I'll cover.
You're sharing why you wouldn't buy this
the brand name. Don't buy a package that looks like this.
It's a review. You can do fair, honest reviews.
Okay.
They're not going to shoot a missile at you.
I'll say I wouldn't buy this again.
You press a button, you beep, and it is all great, except that it's made so cheap that it falls off of your item. But the point is, you're challenging me, and if it's approached in a right way, in a healthful way, that my job is to say, aye, captain. We're co-captains here.
Yeah.
Aye, captain. Let me see what I can do.
So sometimes I've done it in a right way, and sometimes I've done it in a spiteful way, right? So what would be like the ideal way for you?
The ideal way, so everybody's unique, everybody's different. I guess that's the same thing. But for me, it is about encouragement and affirming the positive. I know you can do this, Michael. I've already seen how much you've improved. It makes me feel so good. Can you find a way to take your keys with you every single time? Let's be honest. I am, in fact, where's my mask? Should I get my mask? Well, it's beneath Rooster's tail at the moment. I'm a puppy dog. I'm here to please. Oh, I did a good job. I did a good job. I want to do more of a good job. I want to do a good job. I do a good job. I got to do anything to do a good job. Pet me.
You could be a cartoon voice.
and so that is the ideal way. Let's share the way that doesn't work. Bad dog. You did bad. You did bad. You did. Oh. And I'm completely deflated, and it goes to my wound of I'm less than, and I'm a screw up. And at a certain point, you hit the wound enough, and all of a sudden, the hematite middle finger comes up. Metaphorically, I've never actually stuck up my middle finger.
You know, I would say that even going somewhere in the middle between what the two scenarios you just described
Mm-hmm.
would still end up going poorly.
It's the energy behind it. One is a reaffirming positive energy, how good you are, how much I know you've got this. It's honey versus vinegar.
Like, even if I said, Michael, could you please try harder to remember where you put the car keys?
It doesn't, yeah, you're right. It's just it's a Debbie Downer energy.
Even if I've said please.
Yes.
Or said it softly.
But if you say, and we've talked about this for years, and you're doing much better, how if you say something lovingly, or if I get in a fearful situation, I'm driving, I've done well with the RV. Actually, I've done exceptional with the RV. So maybe that's not a good example. We'll use it as a hypothetical. I'm driving down the highway in Salt Lake City rush hour Friday afternoon traffic. And if I had said, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if we're going to make it. Well, first off, if I was you, I'd say, pull the freak over. But barring that, if you said, no, you got this, that means, to me, it's different for different people. That means everything. And you've got this, Michael. And I saw how amazing you did in the mountains of Colorado and how you did in coming into Driggs, or I don't know, there were so many twisty turny mountain roads, and you've got this. And I'm like, I've got this. I'm proud. It's sort of like when I've coached parents with kids with learning disabilities. You protect their self-esteem with everything. You make them feel good. And it's not a false sense of goodness, but that means everything. And you're doing so much better with that.
It's interesting because we often think of building up the confidence or self-esteem for our children, but we actually get to continue
knock it
doing
down with our spouse or partner. I will beat her, or not beat her, but beat him into submission.
Well, that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say that it's equally as important to continue that building up of the loved ones in our lives, even into adulthood. KJ Brocky, we've had on Gray
Oh my gosh, I love him so much.
John Gray.
John Gray. We've had on John Gray, I think 3 times on the show now. So, although we actually have a reverse scenario here with Men Are From Mars.
We do.
Because in Men Are From Mars, the man goes into the cave, which I do. I love my cave time.
We do.
The woman chases after him with a billy club, which you do. You have been known to.
Yes.
When I say I need a little time, that's gloves off. But she is answer when I'm wanting just a, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So if
okay.
Michael describes a problem or a challenge, or just upset feelings, if he's sharing feelings with me, I want to fix it.
I'm just looking for emotional support. I'm not looking for an answer. In fact, I'm overwhelmed.
I give him how-to answers.
And I'm like, have you read Men Are From Mars? This one's backwards, but I don't need an answer right now. I need love and support. And if I give you love and support, you're like, damn it, where's the answer?
So how does this help the audience watching then? Because this dynamic is unique to us, and it might resonate with some people watching, but not everybody.
It's a great question. Well, what we're doing is we're being cognizant. We're being awake and aware. We're stepping back and we're looking at what's working, what's not working. What can we fit in? What won't fit in? How do we change the dynamic instead of saying it is the way it is? If we said it is the way it is, we'd be divorced. There's no doubt about it. If I said, which I have, that I am the way I am, you're like, oh, hell no, we are not going to take that one. And it's not so much that one partner is trying to change the other, though you are continuously working to change me, and I appreciate that. But it's not so much about that as it is recognizing that each of us individually is capable of changing and bending toward the other person. Because again, going back to the first sentence in this entire talk, which is, don't try to win, because when you win, you lose. Don't try to win at a relationship. Try to think of it as a you, think of it as a me, and think of it as a we. Don't forget about trying to be the strong me or the winning me. How can the we win?
You've done really great with that, where if we're having an argument, oftentimes you're the first to back down. And you immediately go to a place of, how can I help? You basically want me to be heard.
Mm-hmm. And you've done much better. It used to be that was see somebody flying through the air, because
What?
Not quite a dammer, it's a hematite dagger. But you wouldn't want to hear that. You would want to win at those times.
I would want to make sure that my point is getting across. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so even when I'm going, I hear you, you're like, you don't hear me. I hear you, you don't hear me. But you have changed to where you might say, well, tell me what you have heard.
And that's a common practice, where if you're trying to navigate a disagreement, one thing to do is to repeat back mm-hmm. what the other person has just said to you, so that they know that they were heard and that they were heard accurately.
Yeah. And so I feel we are doing much better at that. Do you mind if I switch gears for a minute?
Sure.
And I admit, if my nervous system goes up, I'm just scanning the horizon here and seeing we are the second to last or so vehicle. No, that's not true. There are a few more vehicles in this parking lot.
There's no overnight parking here. And we're not sure what time overnight starts.
So once I see that here in Zion, oh, there goes another vehicle, that we are the last vehicle, that is when this live event ends, as far as I'm concerned. Does that sound fair?
Yes.
So switching gears, we were in a gazebo last night.
We were.
And what did we do?
We
in the dark, in a gazebo, in St. George, Utah. Gated community. Night.
It was kind of spontaneous. Well, we had planned on renewing our vows on our 10-year anniversary. Mm-hmm. And we briefly entertained the idea of going to Vegas and going to one of those cheesy Elvis chapels. Mm-hmm. And renewing our vows
which
there.
I think we came somewhat close, but it didn't happen. Maybe there's a cheesy a chapel in Sedona.
I mean, it could still happen.
I'd like that.
We'll see what the universe says.
Okay.
Anyway, I came up with this idea that we should make requests of the other person for our vows. And so yesterday afternoon, we both took some quiet time, like 5 minutes. I think we had a good idea of what we wanted to request of the other person. And it turns out that we each made a list of 12 items.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really
It was
cool.
all the same number for both of us. But this tends to happen with us, doesn't it?
Well, it would have been kind of upsetting if you came up with a list of 50 and I just had like 12 things. So that was a neat synchronicity. And did you want to share?
Are mine next to Ruru in the drawer, or do we know where mine went? It was in the mileage log.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere up there.
I don't want to disturb Ruru, so maybe we start with yours.
Do you want me to share all of them? I'll just share
whatever you'd like.
I'll just share a couple of them because we did record ourselves doing this, and it might end up in an edited show. This is funny. One request was that you vow to be more present with your keys, wallet, and phone.
There you go.
So some of them were, I mean, the whole thing was very positive, but some of them were.
We're gonna just have to find a more upscale Brookstone-ish version of that thing.
Of this, which I will never buy again.
But you can get, years ago, I did a review for a magazine called Attitude, ADD-itude, an attention deficit disorder magazine. And you could even get a plastic card that you slip in your wallet, like a credit card, that would beep. So that didn't need to be this giant fob thing.
Yeah.
And that worked back 15, 20 years ago. So there is a solution.
Another one was a request for Michael to vow to never use the phrase,
I knew you were going there,
my window closed.
So Jessica will make me the most amazing meals, but inevitably she will hand it to me 3 minutes before coaching or 3 minutes before going on air. And I have, for better or worse, lots of rolling clocks inside of me. You can do this between this time, you can do this and this time, and you will never, ever, ever grab food 3 minutes before going on air or coaching or something like that. And I will say these words that I cannot say anymore. My
window closed.
Can't say it. Not allowed to. Made a vow. And what I am really saying is, Pookie, you blew it. And you would be crushed.
No, you're not just saying that I blew it. You would use that phrase for yourself too. It would mean that you blew it.
Because I didn't get to the food, even though it was still cooking, until 3 minutes beforehand.
It's all about the energy behind the phrase.
And the energy had a phrase. The phrase had an energy of you blew it. And so I am not allowed to use my window closed. It's interesting because right now we have the MiFi router that's giving us the signal right here.
Yes.
And we were going to return it because we couldn't get it to work, at least until Dr. Bradley Nelson came along. Where are you going, Ruru? It would have a furry feather here. That router, when I went to return it to Amazon, it said the return window has closed. And yet we got to Dr. Bradley Nelson's and he helped me set this thing up so that we can actually be in a national park recording. So that term needs to go away. It just needs to go. So Rue is
everything in divine timing.
I think he's threatening to head to the driver's seat, at which point I can grab my journal here.
Oh, okay. I'll list one more serious one.
Okay.
I asked you to vow to continue healing the it's all my fault wound.
That's an interesting one. There was something that happened earlier today where something didn't work out. And my old wiring would say, it's all my fault, whatever happened, which had nothing to do with me, whatever it was. It could have been anything. It could have been the gas pump not working and needing to move to another pump. And my ego would say, it's all your fault. Clearly nothing to do with me. But but I've really been working on that one.
You have.
So maybe it all started when we brought the RV back from renting it and scratched the mirror on the way up the driveway. And there really probably was not a damn thing I could have done about that.
Mm-mm.
So I even bought clippers for the way down the driveway.
Which you didn't use.
No, there was just nothing that could have been done about it. So I'm working on that one. I'm working on certainly on this trip. No regrets, no regrets, no regrets. Which means no attachment, but you want to go here, you don't get to go here. Perfect. You go someplace else. In fact, we had a situation. Oh, it was your cycling cleats that has led us in this circuitous path back to Driggs and back to Driggs because of supposedly forgetting something or something leading. So that's been fun to work on. Anything else you want to share before I try and get to
I'll
my...
just share that the reason why that's such an important wound to me for you to work on is because in the past you would accuse me of saying it's all your fault, to the point where things got so stressful as we were packing up and moving out of the house that we're living in, all in the space of 2.5 weeks, that I started to believe you.
That it's all my fault.
Yes, you programmed it into me over 10 years. So finally one day I go, you know what? You're right. It is all your fault.
Reverse psychology.
I was like, you win. You've convinced me. It's all your fault. It's interesting that when you continuously tell your partner something that you think they're thinking, and even if they say, no, that's not what I'm thinking at all, it's not what I was intending to say or mean, but you keep pounding it into them, sooner or later, you're going to manifest that. They're going to actually believe what you say, what you're trying to put onto them.
So you be careful with that D word. You be careful. I love what a couple recently told us about the only thing they remember in their vows with the minister was being told that you never, ever belittle the other person, even in jest. And that's in a sense what we're talking about. Never use harmful words, even in jest, because eventually that's where you go. That's what comes out of it. I'm going to attempt not to disturb the Ruru, but to get my vows here and see what I can do. If you want to keep sharing with people, or you can hold the hematite handlebar. It's drooping in the middle. The hematite handlebar.
Well, I'll see if there are any questions.
All right. Ruru, how you doing? It's past your bedtime. You seem to be doing all right. Do you want to go to sleep? Oh, I know.
Are you guys backpacking again? We are not backpacking because we've got 3 kitties with us and a rooster, as you can see. Although we are trying to figure out how we can carry Ruru on hiking trips, like day hiking.
Have you seen it, Ruru?
Any other questions? Can you?
I might have to wing this.
It's okay, Michael.
Okay. We're set up for YouTube Live, not for reading vows. But what I was, the most important thing for me, I know you're going for a jump there, aren't you? You're heading for the driver's seat, aren't you? It's probably time for his bedtime. It's actually over an hour past his bedtime.
So maybe he'll sleep in instead of crowing at 5:30 in the morning.
I think there's a crow coming in about 30 seconds. He's looking like it. I have insecurities. I have weaknesses. I have, I'm certainly far from perfect. And I have fears. I don't know if I have more fears than anybody else, but I wear my fears on my sleeve. Clearly. And so my biggest vow to you is to, no matter what, allow you to crumble. Which means to be the rock, the mountain, the island that you can depend on no matter what. So to be able to share, yeah, I'm concerned about this. I'm driving down the road in rush hour traffic, and I literally have only a 1 foot safety margin here with a 14-ton vehicle, literally, maybe filled 15-ton vehicle, but I've got you. And you haven't felt, man, you know you're hungry when I push on your leg and I think, hot dog. And I'm a vegan.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
I think we need food, Pookie. I think we need food.
Does that mean my leg is firm or squishy?
I don't know. I need to be able to be vulnerable, but not have you worried that your man, that your guy, that your rock is not going to be able to take care of you. And historically, you have felt, I don't know how recently, but you felt that you had to take care of me.
I mean, early in the relationship, I felt like the man. I said early in the relationship, you know, like
I feel like I need to make muscles or something now so that people don't think.
No, because so when I was younger, I had ideas of what I wanted my marriage to be like, and I wanted my husband to be, as you're describing, my rock, my source, or not the source, but a source of
a foundation from which you can build life,
stability,
family.
Safety. Yeah. A provider, not meaning that I wouldn't work, but exactly what you just described. And I didn't feel like I was getting that in the early years. And I felt like I had to provide that for you because you were so up and down with your emotions. And your mind was so chaotic that I was like the grounding force. And that wore me out.
And probably got you sick. And so my vow, my greatest vow to you is that I will not leave this place of rockiness. You like the pause that I put in there?
You will not leave this place of rockiness.
Rockiness, meaning of being a foundation rather than being a, I may, as someone recently described me, be a something wind. What was that term?
Yes, our assistant, who is Chinese, she's fluent in English and Chinese, Mandarin specifically. She had this phrase in her head that was in Mandarin, and when she translated it directly into English, it came out as turbulent wind. So she described Michael as a turbulent wind.
So I instead want me to be a very powerful, focused wind of change, coming from a very grounded place, like the wind that always blows from the east. How's that? And so I'm working very much so that even if something comes up, to let you know it's okay, we've got this.
Yeah.
And I have been saying that so much.
And it makes a huge difference.
Like, we've gone on the road. We haven't done as much work, in a sense. We've been working, but we haven't done as much income generation as we have in the past. And earlier today, you said, here's where we were in September. And I said, awesome. That's awesome. That's great. And I do mean that. Can you believe I actually mean that? We've got this. And I think coming from that place of we've got this means we've got this.
Yeah.
If instead I go, oh my God, are we doomed? What are we doing? What are we thinking? Then I'm fairly convinced that oh my God, are we doomed? What are we doing?
I mean, if you
what
said,
are we thinking?
my morale would just go crashing. And I think the same thing would happen if I said that, right? Or no?
If you said we're doomed?
Yeah.
In the past, but I've come back to that place now at a higher level. I can't say what's happened. Maybe it was the move, who knows what. Where when you do go down, I instead counterbalance you now. I don't know if you've noticed that. I'm like, no, we got it.
Yeah. And actually, the shift in you started a few years ago when I got sick from mold exposure, black mold, which was like almost 6 years ago now. You stepped up to the plate and you started filling the role of the provider because I was sleeping all the time.
Now the only challenge with that is we get to be equals, and I'm happy being the provider, but I went over to the I must slay the dragon side of things, and I built an amazing everything that's too hard. And so, like, we're stepping out over onto that glass bridge. We actually flew over a glass bridge.
I didn't even know there was a glass bridge.
Did you catch that yesterday on the Grand Canyon?
And in the Grand Canyon.
Maybe that's where we go, to the glass bridge.
Oh, we could.
It'd be cool to film. I don't know if they've ever had a rooster on a glass bridge. Can you picture Ruru looking down 1,000 feet?
You're not bringing Ruru on the glass bridge.
If it's enclosed?
It's not enclosed.
Oh, no, we're not bringing Ruru on the glass bridge. That would be it.
I don't think it's enclosed.
I think it might be.
Okay. Well,
but anyway.
How do you think Ruru is going to feel?
If he's looking down a few thousand feet? If I've got him, he likes it. He had dogs come up to him yesterday, and I went to him. And he's like, all right, don't have to freak out. He's got me. Yes, he's falling asleep on his perch.
I think he'd wish the lights were out.
we all want this. Somebody's got me. Universe has got me. God has got me. Partner has got me. I think that's the ultimate in a relationship, is if you've got somebody who truly has your back. They may not have the answers. They may not have a clue what to do. But if they tell you, we've got this, you're naturally going to rise to the occasion versus to say, we're doomed.
I know, like in the past when you've shared something akin to we're doomed, it just made me want to quit.
Yeah.
I'm like, how what do I do with that? How do I even like answer an email after something like that?
Do I say that anymore?
No.
Am I pretty consistent on the we've got this?
Yes.
And I truly believe we've got this. So between you and me, if there were no business, no anything, I'm not manifesting this. But even under those circumstances during this time, and this entire trip was just 6 weeks of finding ourselves and nothing else. We've got this. No matter what, we've got this. No matter what happens, we've got this.
I think a lot of this trip is about building a stronger foundation.
And of what's important. Kitty's important. Ruru important. Us. Masterfully important. The other things actually grow out of that. If we get straight what's important to us, everything takes off. If we don't, and we're completely out of balance, it's sort of like the but when we grow strong and get in balance, I think I saw a feather fly there.
Well, then it just feels like we can take on anything.
So that's where we're at. So should we take a few questions? See if anybody has any questions?
And then we should probably.
I feel we get to wrap up within the next 5 minutes, max.
There's one other vehicle out there.
All right, and my vow was not to be the last.
We could probably see a lot of stars now.
This is true. That'd be kind of cool.
All right, questions.
See if there are questions from anybody here. And then we're going to go find food in town. How does it get any better than this?
Let's see. Looks like people are having great conversations amongst
Does
each other.
Woo wake you up early? Linda, if you think too loudly in the morning, he won't make a cock-a-doodle-doo until we make noise first.
Right. So technically we are awake before Ruru,
Always.
but oftentimes we're not really wanting to be awake. But
It's sort of like going into a light level of sleep where you go and you turn over and you go back to bed.
yeah.
But when you turn over to go back to bed and it's you know, I don't know, 4 or 5, whatever in the morning, he's like, aha!
Typically it's not before 5:30.
No. So, but then he will go back to sleep. He'll cock-a-doodle-doo a handful of times, go back to bed, and he'll do that a couple of times before he's like, all right, guys, I really need out of bed. Ed Katie had a question.
What was the most important lessons you've learned since you have been married? That's a good one.
I'm going to be kind of redundant. I feel it's just what I think the letting go of attachment and understanding what's most important and finding new ways to communicate. And really, I need to exercise, or so I believe, each and every day, hours and hours. And I really love that in my heart and soul. It hasn't happened on this trip yet. It will. And that's not most important. I have to remember what's most important. The more I take care of her, the better I take care of her, the happier I will be, period. And that goes right back to the happy wife, happy life at the beginning. You?
I think when we first got married, I didn't realize how many wounds I still had. I mean, I was very focused on all of your wounds because they were very obvious and just.
But true.
Everything about you was just so dramatic. And
you've heard me call my family. You have to put the receiver away before mom picks up the phone. I was trained in drama.
Yeah.
And not the stage kind.
And I was trained in the opposite of just, like stuff everything down, repress everything, and don't emote too much. Certainly don't cry. So after a while, we kind of got you under control, all of my wounds started to surface.
Which I actually took as a good sign. What did I say earlier? You don't have to remember, but I said, I want to be the rock that allows you to crumble. Meaning you can feel safe enough to fall apart so that you can, like our new logo, the Rising Phoenix, rebuild yourself in a better way.
Yeah.
Good job.
And then lastly, I would just say that I've seen, I think from moving back in with my parents a few years ago after I got sick, that
both of us moving back in with your parents
with you helped me realize what traits, for better or for worse, that I had inherited or absorbed from my parents. And so that was a very enlightening period for us.
Couple last thing. We have a couple more questions here, but we do get out of here. First off, we have our automatic writing class this Thursday. That has been a game changer for our relationship and really helped save the relationship, which is each morning going into a process of meditation, writing to spirit, and getting guidance. Jessica's case lately, going quiet and getting paintings that help her understand her subconscious and get out wounds and learn about herself. But that has truly made a massive difference in our life. And I believe that's automaticwriting.com. And that class will be this Thursday probably from Sedona. Very cool. At 8:30 Eastern Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, and that's automaticwriting.com. And then there are a couple more questions. Should I go through them really quickly?
Sounds good.
We're passing my safety zone here. What is your spice that makes you smile? Love, not taking things too seriously, and finding that childlike wonder and joy again. How do you feel about the inner trip? That's more important than any outer trip. But what's interesting is it's so cliche that wherever you go, there you are. But really, wherever you go, there you are. Because as we found when we got in the RV, it's like clutter. Everywhere clutter. We brought it all with us. So we're still working on that. But it's really, at the end of the day, it's all an inner journey. And the more you realize it's all an inner journey, then you realize that everything in the outer circumstances is just conspiring to help you on your inner journey.
Yeah. I would say that it feels more like a healing journey for our relationship more than solo, independent inner journeys. Like I am doing a lot of inner exploration through my automatic writing and automatic drawing, but that's like, an hour a day at most, and the rest of the day is spent on us. And at this point, I think we're over the hardest part, which is getting packed up, moved into an RV and learning how to.
Although people are asking, are we going to find a place to live in 6 weeks? So it's 5 weeks at this point. Not that the clock is ticking, but we've got this.
It feels good. It feels good to finally put what matters most as the number one priority. And it wasn't when we were back in our old house.
No, we were two separate vessels in the same ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we are now.
Yeah. So we still have a lot to explore before we decide on a place to live. And we're even toying with the idea of buying another RV. Not another RV, but this is a rental. And at the end of the tour, just moving from one RV to another and continue our exploration of the country. But we have some contenders out there.
Mm-hmm. We do have a couple. We're going to go to one in a few days. We keep hearing about another one coming in multiple channels daily now. Isn't that interesting? So I'm feeling very confident that it is time to wrap things up here. So if you have more questions, we have a boot camp. Jessica will put that link down, which is a weekly boot camp. We are now working on the concept of breakdown to breakthrough. You can join us each Wednesday also at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. To try it out, it's like $7. And you're going to find a whole bunch of homies there, learning, showing, sharing, growing. And it's a much more organized fashion than this, where you get specific teachings and specific homework to work on. So we're working on from breakdown to breakthrough. That'll be this Wednesday, and you can bring your questions there. We've got automatic writing class on Thursday, which is like the number one tool that you get to learn, period. Done deal, end of story. Helped our relationship, helped our lives, gave us focus, gave us direction. And that automaticwriting.com will be on Thursday. And then we'll be back on Sunday with us, and we may have some premieres in advance as well. In fact, I think we were supposed to speak with the editor today. Is today Sunday? Yep. Well, tomorrow. There is tomorrow. All right. So love you guys so much. And not really my apologies for ending early. It's been a good just over an hour, but we are at a national park with nobody around us, and I feel it is time that we get going. So love you guys so much. We will. Oh, geez. Almost forgot the best for last. You can get behind the scene footage. You can find out where we're at. You can find out where we're doing. We need a Where's Waldo map. Patreon.com/Inspire Nation. That is how you can follow everything of the journey. We've got little bits on Facebook, little bits on Instagram, little bits on everything but TikTok at this point. But it is if you come to Patreon, that you can find out all of our goings on, all of our lessons, and you're supporting us. $7 helps keep us, $7 a month helps keep us on the road and going strong. And that's patreon.com/Inspire Nation. I have just been talking for the last 10 minutes straight. So is there any last things that you want to share?
I think the videos that we're posting on Patreon are really fun.
Cool. I don't even know what's
because
there,
we're recording hours and hours of footage that'll never make it into the edited versions of the show.
Yeah. But our team is putting the best of the best on Patreon. The best of the best. Sounds like Men in Black. You guys are the best of the best.
That's a good voice.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to get behind the wheel. You can keep talking. We have a Meowsers next to you that you can show with people. I am going to get behind the wheel and start this rig up. So there is Meowsers, and there is Lumi. So we've got synchronized cleaning going on. Love Bug, can you angle down there? Is it too far?
I think it's too far.
So we've got Love Bug just off camera. We've got Ruru, who I think I should put Ruru in bed.